This week on the Honor Roll podcast, we'll be talking to recent honors graduate Audra Nikolajski on her time as a student and why she chose to attend the Judy Genshaft Honors College. All that and more coming up next. Hey Honors Bulls! Welcome to the Honor Roll podcast, the flagship podcast of the Judy Genshaft Honors College Podcast Network. I'm your host, Caroline Merriman, a third-year student studying English and biology. My regular co-host, Fabiana, is out today, but she'll be back next week. So I'll jump right into this week's big question. So the question is, what is the most important thing to consider when selecting a university to attend? For me, when I applied to college, I had certain uncontrollable factors that narrowed down my decisions, like I knew I had to stay in state. And so when looking amongst the Florida schools, what I was searching for was which university had the most opportunities. And for me, that meant searching for who had, most scholarships, student organizations, research, and abroad programs so that I could get a lot of diverse experiences during college. I think that is the most important thing to consider when looking at universities is finding out which ones have the most enriching programs and opportunities, like being a part of the Honors College so that you can make the most of your time in college, but also curate an experience that speaks to your passions and your dreams. And I feel like that is what led me to USF and what led me to apply to be a student in the Honors College. But don't just take my advice on it. This week, I'll be chatting with honors graduate Audra Nikolajski to reflect on her journey in the Honors College and what led her to join the Judy Genshaft Honors College at USF. Coming up next.
Explore the world of research with the University of South Florida Undergraduate Research Portal. This centralized online portal paves the way to exciting research opportunities filled with discovery and personal growth. It will connect you with the right research lab, professors, and mentor relationships at USF. The perfect research opportunity is just one click away. Search USF Research Portal or visit the Judy Genshaft Honors College website to learn more.
Hi, everyone. Today, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our guest, Audra Nikolajski, who is officially a great friend of the podcast as our first returning guest. Welcome back to the podcast, Audra. Would you like to kind of reintroduce yourself to the audience?
Absolutely. And firstly, thank you so much for letting me be the first returning guest. It's a huge honor. I'm glad to be a friend of the podcast. I certainly love the work that you're doing here. So, like you said, my name is Audra. I have just graduated from USF and the Honors College, which feels super surreal. I served, past tense, as the Judy Genshaft Honors College Student Council president for the Tampa campus. I absolutely loved my job. I've held other positions around the campus. I'm the co-editor, I was the co-editor-in-chief of Thread Magazine, and I was a peer mentor lead. I love the Honors College. I talk about it all the time, and I majored in English and political science, but I guess I have finally procured my degrees, so that's really exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It feels super surreal.
Mm-hmm. How does it feel coming back, like after officially being gone for a whole entire week?
Yeah, a whole entire week, and my card didn't work, so I guess I'm officially like a graduate alumni of the university because I can't get to the 5th floor without assistance anymore.
You've been booted.
Yeah.
They wasted no time.
I don't go here anymore to this school. I'm glad to be back on campus when it's empty so I can say sort of like a sad, solemn, emotional goodbye to it because the graduation process has almost no time for emotion. So I've been processing a lot this week in solitude. I'm glad I get to do it one more day on campus here. And I'm so happy that I get to do the podcast with you.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you too. So today we wanted to kind of dive into your experience as a USF Honors College community member and kind of talk about why you chose the Honors College in the first place. What brought you here and what have you enjoyed about being an honors student? So looking back at the start of your college career, how did you find out about the Honors College and what drew you to it?
Oh, this is a really fun question. So full transparency, I was 99% sure that I was going to be attending USF for college. I live in Brandon, Florida, as of right now, and when I was applying to colleges as a senior in high school, which is about a 25-minute commute from USF. I never thought that I would want to live on a campus. I'm very happy with my parents. I love them. I am definitely like a homebody. I don't do well living with people who aren't like my dearest loved ones.
I'm the same way. Live with a stranger?
Yeah. Not have a bathtub? No, thank you. Yeah, that was like a big decision.
The
part of my decision. Yeah, I love the bath, man. So I knew that I would be at USF, and I was also caretaking for my father who was terminally ill. He has since passed. So USF was my decision.
Yeah.
I was in my high school guidance counselor's office talking to her about the USF application. It wasn't anything super daunting, but I was just getting transcripts signed off on and getting ready to do the whole senior thing. And she said, "Oh, do you know about the Honors College?" I did not know then that she was changing my life. So she physically turned her monitor around and said, "Have you seen this?" And I hadn't. I did not know about the Honors College. I'm not sure how I had missed it, but I guess maybe it is kind of the job of the guidance counselor to tell people about that, or like a school visit. So it was kind of like in the realm of like how it was supposed to work. And she showed me all about it. And I was super excited. I loved the concept of like an honors college. So I went home and did more research on it. And as soon as I started reading about the values, it was everything that I really cared about. So I was fascinated by the idea of global citizenship. That was not the type of thing that I had been exposed to in my like big public high school. Like there was like maybe one study abroad program that one of the teachers led, but it was like for one of the foreign language programs and not something that I had access to.
Yeah.
But I've always really cared about like being a global citizen, maybe implicitly, but I didn't know that that's something that I cared about until it was articulated in that way. And then the sort of other pillars of like academic success and service to the community, those are things that I did deeply care about.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of like taking small classes in an interdisciplinary way. That was really exciting to me. I've always loved getting to explore like other majors. Like I knew what I wanted to major in, but you know, I like am kind of obsessed with other people's stories. So the fact that I would be able to access like different types of people who think different ways was really exciting to me. And the scholarships were of course like a draw as well. You know, I'm a Pell Grant recipient, so it was like, wow, more scholarships are a potential, and that was really just kind of a blessing and amazing to me. So I applied right away. I was not an automatic admin. I had to write the essay, but I was accepted, and that was just so exciting to me. I'm forever thankful for my counselor for turning her monitor around. Thank goodness she did, because I would have missed it, I think. I'm not sure that I ever would have found it on my own.
I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad she told you.
I know.
That was fate.
That was fate. So that happened. That's happened to me several times throughout my life. I'm sure I'll talk about it more, but it seems like I've just been handed from one mentor to another who have gotten me to where I am. Like a lot of my own autonomy has not gotten me new places, but other people have certainly inspired me to think bigger and reach farther. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think touching on your reasons for like enrolling in honors with all of the attraction of like the interdisciplinary courses and with all the scholarships and everything, I think that's just for a lot of people what's a really big reason of coming here is like in every other program that at least I've looked into personally, I didn't see interdisciplinary.
Totally.
It was like you go into your major and you stay in it, and that aspect changed at least the trajectory of my college career, and I'm sure it changed yours as well.
Oh my gosh, definitely.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that. Like, I feel like the way that I think day to day is totally different because I've been exposed to the way that other disciplines think.
Absolutely.
Like, I can apply other people's reasoning to my own life, and my honors classes have made all the difference in that.
So what were you looking for in a college experience? And maybe what were you hoping for coming in as a freshman with, you know, that little bit of naivety and excitement about doing something new?
Great question. Freshman year was really scary. I had just graduated high school by driving through my parking lot.
Yeah.
We did not have, COVID was everywhere, and my dad was sick with a lung disease, so I was absolutely not able to leave the house.
Yeah.
So I guess my hopes for freshman year were just to get through it. But I knew that before COVID had hit, I wanted to have a college experience that was sort of familial. I wanted to find friends on the campus. I loved being involved in high school. I used to be a volleyball player. Like I traveled around the state playing volleyball. So I was an outside and a DS.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was great. I loved playing. I loved my career. I knew it wasn't right to continue playing. I didn't want to play for college. But I was looking for sort of a way to be connected to people like I was when I was on a team. And I was also the editor-in-chief of my yearbook in high school, so I was looking for like a way to have a creative outlet like that again in college. I really just wanted to find friends. I was hoping to grow academically.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think we all are when we go to college.
Hopefully.
So I really wanted to get myself toward a career. And I think I also wanted to find myself a little bit. I had some idea of where I wanted to go, but I did enter college thinking I was going to be a journalist. But I also wasn't sure that that was totally right. And I can confidently say that I know where I'm going now.
Yeah.
And that's all because of USF's curriculums and also the mentors that I've had here. So yeah, I guess I was looking for some friends, some ways to get involved in like community work and service and like fun things for the community. And then also to grow professionally and find out what my path would be a little bit. So I had a lot of hopes, I guess. And after college switched from being just my computer screen on my desk, I had a lot more opportunity to do that. So that was really exciting.
Yeah. You touched on how you wanted to like find yourself and how you changed, your expected career path during your freshman year. How do you like think the exposure that you got in the honors college or maybe the organizations that you were involved in, how did that help you find yourself in that way?
I'm being 100% honest when I say I think that the organizations I was involved in directly changed my path. So I love the Oracle. I wrote for the Oracle and news edited for the Oracle for my whole freshman year. I really love that experience. I'm a friend of the Oracle as well, I guess you could say. But I realized that news wasn't my path. It wasn't where I was meant to be. I was uncomfortable with the on-callness of it all.
Yes.
And I wanted to just have a mental break and not be constantly worrying about when the next thing would break that I needed to cover. So I realized like, oh, this is not my path, but I really am still invested in storytelling.
Yes.
And then I became a peer mentor and simultaneously started working with the Office of National Scholars. And I realized that the thing that made me most happy, and I was tutoring. That was a big deal too. The thing that made me most happy was this experience I was having tutoring and working with the Honors Foundations program. I realized that I loved teaching. And more than that, I really cared about the way that we're developing and sort of cultivating classroom environments and helping teachers to be more confident in the classroom, as well as like retaining teachers in the state of Florida. And I got really excited about just like tutoring and the way that we craft English curriculums. I'm super excited right now talking about it.
The smile on your face.
Yes. I love this type of thing, like working with my 4th through 12th grade students just online. Like I'm overwhelmed with joy by it. Like I have the best time. And so I realized through these different involvements and also my work with Dr. Basu, I'm more directed to the right place now.
Yeah.
I want to be in the education sphere. I would like to be working on public policy, and I would really like to be working in the nonprofit sector complementing school district education because that's really needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
That made me so excited. I love journalism. I think the highest possible of all journalists. But I decided that education was the place I wanted to be, and I still feel
that's amazing.
Incredible about that. And I'm so happy that the Honors College had mentors that were willing to tell me like, oh, maybe that's not your path.
Yeah.
And also had programs where I was able to experiment. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to be able to do things with low stakes environments like the Foundations program. Like that's my peers, So if I'm not a good teacher, it's still people that like I can get along with.
Yeah.
But, I felt so confident playing in that space. And now here I am, and I know where I'm going. Yeah. That's really great.
I think our beloved Dr. Davidson, she likes to refer to the Honors College as a sandbox.
That's a great
because we all
analogy.
kind of just get to like build and deconstruct and rebuild and try new things that you wouldn't try.
Yes,
outside
totally.
Because you just come in with this like preconceived idea of like, oh, this is what I want to do, but really, you're going in blind. You're a high schooler. You haven't tried anything,
yes.
And you don't want to get yourself into something, lock yourself in somewhere where that's not right for you. And I think that's a great perk of being here and being exposed to so many different people.
One more shout out that I would like to do, because I do attribute so much of my success to the programs in the college and also to the Office of National Scholars. But also I took a class in the Honors College that really changed my trajectory. The professor is not with USF anymore, sadly, but his name was Dr. Bush. He taught a class with a very long title, Transforming America Through Science Fiction and Collaborative Storytelling. And it totally changed the way that I thought about using storytelling to map out the future that we would like to see and getting other people people to collaborate on a story that we all share to outline a desirable possible. So it showed me like storytelling can be a really powerful tool to get people to work toward collaborative change. And that like transformed the way that I facilitated leadership, that I thought about my career, that I thought about education as a whole. So I really am so thankful that I took a class about science fiction. You know, like it's amazing that we studied things like, you know, The Handmaid's Tale, or literally like Blade Runner. And I came out with this sort of like totally changed worldview about how we can like facilitate change as a group.
Did you expect to ever take that much out of a class going in?
No, and it's happened to me several times, especially with honors classes. But that one specifically, I'm always amazed by because it is framed around science fiction. And I think people think like, oh, I love science fiction, I'm going to take that. You know, I love like books and movies. But I came away with a totally different way of facilitating group work and like how I can get people to buy into a vision or like contribute their own vision to a goal. And it's just so cool. Like I never would have thought that I would come away from a course like that. Like we read Dune. Like, you know what I mean? It's so cool that we came away with an understanding like that. Yeah, I would not expect you to come to that.
I did not. From reading Dune.
So cool.
Okay, sandworms.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Arrakis. Okay, spice.
So kind of touching on this like love you found for education and leadership and storytelling, did that kind of lead to like you teaching your own class in the honors college, and kind of how were you able to facilitate that opportunity for yourself?
That was a super cool experience, and I want no ownership of it. That was another example of me being passed from mentor to mentor who saw my vision and encouraged it in me. So that started with a long conversation with Dr. Basu in his office at the Office of National Scholars, and we talked about the things I was passionate about and ways that we could start finding opportunities for me despite me being place-bound. So a lot of the work that the Office of National Scholars does is kind of national. Like you see people going off to do REUs, which is research experiences for undergraduates. Those are at different colleges across the nation. People traveling, you know, study abroad is a big part of it too. That was not accessible to me at the time because I was taking care of my dad. I mentioned that before. Yeah. I was totally place-bound in Brandon. I really couldn't be farther than I couldn't be, you know, gone longer than, 2-3 weeks because I wanted to be with my dad as much as possible and support my mom also. So we were kind of brainstorming, like, what do I care about? What do I care about within education? And we started talking about something maybe with educational technologies or the way that we facilitate learning in the classroom. And Dr. Basu said, okay, you need to go talk to Dr. Lucien. So I did. I made an appointment with him. He's not my advisor, but he was open to seeing me right away, which is so sweet, even though he'd never met me before.
He's great. He's so great.
Yeah, he's the best. And we had a long conversation, and he asked me a question that really sort of changed another part of my trajectory. He asked something like, how do we help students cultivate writing skills in the classroom? And he was specifically meaning like younger students, not college students, like K through 12. And that kind of stopped me in my tracks because I think that question is sort of the core of my work at this point. I didn't know it then, but that is the core of what I've been exploring. And I sat there and I said, we have to start with letting them tell their own story. It's the story that we know the best. There's no wrong way to tell your own story. But by starting with that, we get more confident in our writing abilities, we find value in ourselves, and we can identify our own trajectories better. And he looked at me, and he said, I think you have a course to create.
Wow.
And he was being serious.
What was it like to hear him say that?
I thought he was kind of joking. But he meant it. And he said, you need to sit down, write a pitch for a course, and we'll talk to Dr. Davidson. And I did that. So I wrote down, I thought out this whole course. It was different than the course that I mapped out. It focused on sort of a week-by-week pairing, and the first week would be discussion-based. And then the students would all write a story that dealt with two facets of their identity. And each week explored new mediums as well. So one week would be a poem, one week would be a children's book, one week would be a personal statement, which is very helpful for a lot of our students, and things like that. So I was exploring this idea of identity as a duology through different mediums, and I was really excited about it. I showed Dr. Lucien my pitch, and he loved it. And we went to Dr. Davidson, and she said, this is awesome. I'd like to take you on as my intern. So again, here, friends, this is another place where I was passed to a new mentor, and just people who've continually invested in me. I can't emphasize enough how much that has changed my life. I didn't think that I would be deserving of this type of intense sort of belief and mentorship in the future that I have. It's been incredible at the Honors College. So from Basu to Dr. Lucian to Dr. Davidson, and I was her intern for a whole semester, so I got to learn about curriculum development. I got to help her with some of the behind-the-scenes stuff of cultivating course selections for the Honors College. It was super cool. Got to learn about a little bit what higher ed is like behind the scenes and academia is like behind the scenes, which is very fascinating. And then after that, the course was sort of in development, and I was then placed as a teaching assistant for Bria Cousineau, who has now also left the college, but she was teaching narrative medicine and health injustices, and she brought me on as a TA, as an undergraduate. So I got to help teach this course. I got to develop a few of the weeks, because that's what I've been practicing is sort of curriculum development. I got to develop some of the course that she was teaching and teach 2 of the weeks on my own. And I also got to grade students' work and sit in the class every day and help her teach it, which is crazy. That was an honor. I was teaching my peers,
Yeah.
And then after that, we felt like the sort of course was ready to be taught. We had some struggles getting it to be taught with a professor, because I'm not allowed to teach like a accredited course on my own. So I ended up co-teaching it as a seminar with Dr. Basu, and he incorporated some of the things that he'd been teaching in another 0-credit course that he had created called Activate Your Verbs, Activate Your Life, which was really technically writing oriented. So we took this kind of vision that we both had and combined them into one, and then we taught the seminar for 2 semesters. It was awesome.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it was funny that it started with Dr. Basu and ended that way too. It's very, very full circle.
It's crazy that you've got professional teaching experience during your undergraduate.
Yeah, it's super surreal.
Career.
I think that the TA-ship even, I kind of glossed over that, but I mean, that was a huge part of my professional development.
That's pretty unheard of, too, to have an undergraduate TA. Yes,
and now I'm lucky that I'm going to have a TA-ship in grad school, and I feel like the experience I had here directly contributed to me earning that position.
Wow, yeah. And do you feel more prepared going in?
Totally. Yeah, I'm ready. I love teaching.
That's so wonderful.
Yes, I'm very lucky to have been passed along to so many mentors throughout my time here. They've really shaped my whole life at this point.
Yeah, and it's crazy to encounter someone having the radical belief in you before you are able to have that radical belief in yourself.
Totally.
Because otherwise, how would you accomplish those things on your own that you didn't know were possible until someone said, hey, you can do this and we will help you do it, even though you maybe don't know how right now.
And more than one person, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You're lucky, I think, if you get one good mentor in this life, and I've had probably 10 in the Honors College. And a whole society, the COSO Society has invested in me beyond belief. So it's just amazing that sort of these communities have built to, they've raised me like a village. They're just saying, it takes a village to raise somebody. I feel like, I feel like the troops rallied around me, and I still don't feel deserving. I feel very blessed to be able to say that.
Are you interested in graduate study, prestigious scholarships, studying abroad? Serving all 3 USF campuses, the Office of National Scholars, ONS, mentors USF students for prestigious awards and scholarship programs focused on research, international education, graduate study, and intellectual development. If you're interested in applying for awards like Fulbright, Rhodes, or Marshall, don't wait. Meet with an ONS advisor to discover what's possible. You can visit the ONS website or drop by their office on the 2nd floor of the Judy Genshaft Honors College building to learn more.
Do you feel like being in the Honors College that, in a way, your experience was more customizable as opposed to kind of just being one of the many in the USF body of students?
Absolutely. I really can't. You phrased it so well. It did feel customizable.
Yeah.
I think that because of the, in air quotes, smaller nature of the college, that our faculty, staff, and advisors have more time to invest individually with students. And we have programs like our literal honors advisors and the Office of National Scholars who are there to help us. And the fact that we have a little bit more creative freedom than perhaps a major track, Like, the
Yes.
Honors College is not only about the classes that we offer here, though they are
Yes.
very important and awesome. It's also about helping students cultivate their whole experience. So when you have a whole college that's oriented around student success, student growth, and student innovation, there's a lot more opportunity to have your experience customized and a
Yes.
lot more people who are willing to help you see that vision. It hasn't just been me. Like, I think the 3D Hab Lab is a great example. Like,
Wonderful. I
that is
love
sort of
Hab.
born of an idea, right? And
Absolutely.
mentorship from someone else and like a really passionate student. There's just ways to grow things here that you can't just grow in your major track. I think that I would have thrived in just my English major, but I would not have had as many people like putting their hands in to help me realize the visions that I had, or helping me find scholarships so I could continue to attend this university. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, which is so important.
And who emotionally supported me through some of the hardest times of my life. I don't think that I would have been the type to drop out with an obstacle like I faced, but I certainly would have been the type to become really saddened and unmotivated by school if I had just been in my major. So I think that with a program like this, like the college that we have here, it's like just an investment in students' futures. It's a community atmosphere and like emotional support, and also people who are extremely knowledgeable about all academic avenues and like interdisciplinary, like weird, cool stuff. So there's always someone here who can help you figure out what you want to do and can help you realize goals that you have. So it's made all the difference to me. I know that I would not be where I am if I hadn't been in the Honors College.
I completely agree. And I like the point you made about like it helps you realize your goals. And I think that's just like the environment of the Honors College and like the way of thinking that comes about here, and seeing professors who are doing things that you never thought were possible because of the way that they mix different fields. Just like, Tina Parachi, how she mixes art and science. Like, I would have never thought that was possible, but she's out here doing it, and it's amazing, and students love being in her courses. Yes,
she's an amazing example. And then it's like the class I took, like, who would think that writing science fiction can help you build community, right? Like, it's just a crazy cross-section of things here at the college. And they have the resources. Like, in other colleges, they could have said, like, oh, great idea, you should make a course. They never would have let me follow up on that, and they never would have helped me to actually grow it myself.
And I think, the hands-on guidance is important. And if you want to do something, like, someone's going to help you.
Yes.
There's someone here, some grant or fund around to
someone
help
here
you fund
knows something about that. Yes. Totally.
So I just kind of wanted to go back and kind of touch on some of the things you've been able to accomplish, some of your leadership that you've been able to take part in here. A lot of people know you formally as the student council president.
Yes, formally.
Our beloved Madam President.
I don't know about that title, but yes.
So how would you describe that experience of kind of like being kind of a face of the Honors College in a way, a face of the student body?
It was such an honor and a privilege to hold that position. I loved the whole experience. As another thing that I didn't really feel like I deserved to do. Maybe a little bit of imposter syndrome going on here for me quite a lot of the time. My favorite part about it was actually a very small aspect, and it was that I got to be a mentor to some students who would come to council meetings. I got to really grow the leadership skills of the executive board, I think, or at least contribute to their like sort of paths as like leaders and as community changers. So I'm really proud of the work that I got to do on a individual, like sort of interpersonal level.
Yes.
It was also amazing to get to help us transition to the new building. I'm proud of the work I did advocating the student response for the building. It was both very beloved and also had a little bit of a rocky start because, it's hard moving into any building.
Absolutely.
And students had concerns right away, and I'm really happy that I was able to take those directly to administration. I've loved my job. I think that the work the council does is so important. I've gotten to participate in countless events and service, and I think that our impact on the honors community is really, really important. And it means the world that they thought that I had the capability to lead that. And I'm really proud of the way it went this year. And it was a joy. Like, I got to do so much stuff I never thought I would do. I threw a first pitch at a baseball game. That's so crazy to me. I loved my job. I loved getting to mentor the executive board and other students and just be able to tell students that any story is accepted here and loved here.
Absolutely.
And that they have resources here to do what they want to do. And I'm really proud of the way that I was able to, I think, embody that spirit and also, encourage people to to achieve big things and to think outside the box and to find scholarships, because I know
Absolutely.
that's a huge deal.
I think everyone like who's in the honors college can see and feel the impact of the student council.
Yes.
And everyone I know who's on it is like so fond of
Yes.
being a part of it. It's like the biggest thing they talk about is like, oh, this thing's coming up for honors council. Like, you should come. You should show up.
Yes, we love Honors Council. We do such fun stuff. We have a great time together, and we want as many people as possible to come
Join the
hang
Honors
out with us
Council.
because it's so much fun. We just have a great time.
It's really cool that, and you've kind of been able to like put your hand into all these different organizations that have come back with an experience that like relates with what you want to do in the future. Like even on Honors Council or in Peer Mentor, like you're getting to serve as an advocate, serve
Yes.
as a mentor, as a liaison between, a higher organization or, whoever is
Absolutely.
laying down the law.
Yes.
And the student who needs to be advocated for
Yes.
and helped. And it's really cool that that's certainly going to be something that you're using in your master's
Oh,
degree.
totally.
And in your future career. And so I think it's great that you've been able to build that here.
Yes, I say frequently that the most important and impactful part of the Honors College to me has been that I have done more experiential work that's going to help me in my career than I do in my classes. Like,
Absolutely.
I have had so many opportunities here to actually like practice, to play, to try out these things that are going to directly transfer to my future career. I feel like it's like J.A. Biztown, but like 10 times better. You know what I mean?
J.A.
Like, I feel
Biztown.
like I've lived my career a little bit already, and that's going to be so helpful for me when I actually do take it on.
And it's reassuring
Yes.
to know, like,
Yes,
okay,
like,
I do like this.
I do like this.
I'm
Yes.
not going in blind.
Yeah, it's like like if I had just kept going with journalism, I would have
knows?
gotten there and been like, oh no. Yes, yeah, uh-oh. So I'm so confident that this is what I want to do.
Wonderful. And kind of talking about like experiential learning, your honors experience has actually taken you a lot of places.
Yes.
You studied abroad in London. You went to Washington to learn about public policy. Did you ever expect that your university career would like literally take you so far?
No, and I don't want this to sound like I'm doing like PR. I literally would have never thought that I would go anywhere during college. Caroline, I didn't even want to apply. I didn't apply to other schools. I wanted to stay at home.
I didn't either. I didn't either. I'm in the same boat. I only applied to USF.
I wanted to be at home with my parents. I wanted to commute to school. I didn't think I would ever leave Brandon, even though I don't really like it there. It's very ugly and commercial. And I was uncomfortable with the idea of travel. I'd left the state maybe 3 times in my life. I'd never left the country. And even though I love the idea of the earth and global citizenry and I love the earth and exploring other cultures, I never thought that I would actually really do that unless it was like a little trip, a little vacation.
Yep.
So the fact that I have been not only out of the state but out of the country during my time in honors constantly blows me away, and has certainly changed my life. I also got to hit Tallahassee and Baltimore throughout my time at USF, so I feel like I've really been all over the place a little bit, and London especially was such an incredible experience. I still can't believe that I spent a month there, and that I got to live sort of as the Londoners do. And just our flat was in the middle of the city. Like, we would just walk out and get on the tube and then go all over the city. I'm amazed by that still. It's probably my happiest college experience, just like the thing that I found the most joy in, and I got to do so many cool things while I was there. Yeah, I'm constantly blown away by the fact that I've been to Washington, D.C. and London and Baltimore now because of the honors college.
Were you apprehensive, like going into any travel abroad experiences?
I was extremely apprehensive. I had a bit of a lucky situation that my boyfriend, who I did not meet at USF, that is a common misconception, we met in middle school.
Aww.
And we started dating in high school. He came to USF with me, and he was also in the honors program, and we studied abroad together. And I knew that he would take care of me. So I do recommend traveling with a buddy.
Yes.
That definitely, even if I had just been with my friends who were also in the honors program, that would have alleviated a lot of my concern. The professors did a really good job of prepping us beforehand. And I was going to a country that spoke my language. So I did not feel as much apprehension. But I'd never been on a plane for 8 hours. I had never traveled alone. That's crazy. My first time traveling, well, I was with my partner, but my first time traveling without my parents was to another country. And yeah, it was extremely nerve-wracking, but I did a lot of the prep work. I got, anti-pickpocket clothing. I studied up on, the culture and the customs and the food. I spent a lot of time looking up the places that I wanted to go. I spent a lot of time immersing myself in the experience. They say that the most important part of planning any trip is the planning part, that you get the most health benefits from planning.
Absolutely.
I think that's fascinating. So I really spent some time doing my planning and taking time to immerse myself in the concept of travel. And I really reaped the benefits of that. I had the best time in London. Nothing negatively impacted my experience. My professors were amazing. Our luggage got there on time. It didn't get lost.
Perfect.
So everything just went great. I got to see Phantom of the Opera, which I have a lifelong.
jealous.
Yeah, you should be. It's been I've seen it many times at the Straz. I'm a lifelong sort of lover of the Phantom of the Opera. It's my number one movie show or
Absolutely.
movie musical, everything. So seeing that on the West End was a huge bucket list item. And I got to just really explore the concept of learning in new places and how the space that we're occupying impacts the way that we're retaining information and understanding the world. And I'm taking that back with me to my career. That was a
Absolutely.
huge thing that I learned. It wasn't just a bunch of fun things I did. I also took away some really important knowledge as well from the trip.
How do you think you were different coming back? I know you talked about how it's something you always carry with you, but
Yes.
What change did you see in yourself after being pushed into this new experience, but an experience that you were given lots of support to do?
Totally. This is going to sound a little silly given that I've held positions like president of the Honors College, but I really just felt like I could be a functioning adult on my own. I did live at home for my whole college career. I exist independently from my parents, but I had never really done it before that. I never put it into
Absolutely.
practice. Mentally, sure, I'm an adult and I can think about things and critically think, but I was able to live and function in a different country totally by myself. So that really gave me a lot more confidence in my leadership when I returned, and my willingness to apply for jobs and things like that. I just felt like I could do things on my own and I could be successful and independent and safe and happy and thrive by myself. And it's really important to feel like you have autonomy and the ability to sort of thrive on your own.
Absolutely, especially for all the kids like us who have we've always still lived with our parents
Yes.
and our family members throughout
Yes.
college, and especially I think before you're moving away now for the first time
Right.
and going to grad school to know, okay, I've tried this, I've
I'll
had
be
a
okay.
trial and I'm going to be okay.
Yes.
And you don't have to encounter all that fear now when you're
Yes.
going into your master's. It's really important.
Totally. If I can navigate Heathrow Airport, I can pretty much do anything by myself.
Some of the airports in Europe are really difficult.
Heathrow is normally very highly regarded, but the day that we were flying out was an absolute nightmare. The line to get into the security was, I'm not kidding, hundreds of people deep out the door.
The tears I would have shed.
It was bad. It was bad. We were stressed a little bit.
But you survived and you're here.
We did.
You did that. You persisted.
I persisted. A resilient queen.
So as a resilient queen,
Thank you. That's my proper title.
you will only respond to resilient queen now.
Yeah. Matriarch. Yeah.
Queen mother.
Yes. Queen mother is fine. Yes.
So we've touched a lot on your accomplishments, but how would you describe your personal transformation during your last 4 years in the Honors College?
Wow, I feel like I've come out a different person. I think that my ability to exist independently has been a really key part of my transformation. I feel much more confident in myself because of the Honors College. I feel like I have the potential to make change, which is something that I always hoped that I would feel. And I hoped that I could make change, but now I know that I can make change. And that's really powerful
Absolutely.
to carry with me in my master's and in my future jobs. I feel like I can facilitate group belief in a vision. That's really important. I think that any leadership that I'm doing in the future, I'll have confidence in helping others actualize their goals and contribute ideas that are impactful and meaningful and hear those out with a respectful intention and willingness to collaborate on those ideas. I think that I public speak much better.
You're a fantastic public speaker.
Thank you.
I heard your graduation speech.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, it was wonderful.
That was a big honor. I still can't believe I did that. I've been trying to mentally process that experience for the last week. I feel so lucky to have done that. I feel much more confident speaking publicly, conveying my thoughts and beliefs publicly. And I just feel more confident. This sounds so silly, like existing on the planet. Like,
It's not silly at all. It's true.
I just feel like I can do this now. Like, I feel like I can take on the world now. I feel like I can get a job now. I think that I have the knowledge within me that's going to really contribute to my career. I've done research, I've done all these things. I just feel like I can do this. And that means I didn't always feel like that.
I think that's almost the most important thing to get out of college.
Totally.
Is the sense of self and self-empowerment is really important.
Yes.
And knowing you still have all these connections here.
Yes.
Even though you're going to be far away, like you've made really strong relationships with mentors over the years that you can still kind of lean on.
And I can fall back on that. I know if I need it, which is crazy and amazing. And what a powerful statement to be able to say.
So, we've looked a lot at your whole experience and your time in honors college, and now you're graduating. Well, you are now a graduated alumni officially. What advice would you give to prospective students who are thinking of maybe trying to choose a college and maybe considering the honors college?
Specifically, advice for someone looking to choose a college, I would quite honestly say 2 things. The first one is go to the place that makes you happy. Nothing really matters in this life besides your happiness and the amount of people who love you and who you get to love in return.
Absolutely.
So go to a place where you feel like you'll have camaraderie, where you'll have joy, and that fits into the way that you want to live your life. If you want a bathtub, you know what I mean? Like that sounded funny, but it's true. Like, don't go to a place that doesn't have the things that you want. The Honors College, of course, has camaraderie built in, so I really encourage you to attend USF and go to the Honors College.
Absolutely.
Also look for places that have opportunity that you would be excited to take on. So read the experiences of other students who have gone there. Look what's built into your practicum. So that means like look what is embedded in the curriculum already. If you're just doing classwork and there's no other opportunity besides that, it may not be the best place for you to thrive. So look for programs like the Honors College that have this diverse experiential aspect.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're really going to find the most impact. Those high impact practices are really important. Those internships, those research. So look for somewhere where you're going to be happy, and look for somewhere where you're going to have the support to do big things and commit yourself to doing those big things.
Wow. Wonderful. You're welcome to all the prospective students out there who just got the best advice in the world.
But be happy. Find somewhere that makes you happy. That's the most important thing I can say.
So to end on a lighter note, you've talked a lot about your love for the Honors College.
Yes, big fan.
So to keep with the tradition of your last podcast where we ended with a rapid fire trivia game, we will be doing rapid fire Honors College trivia.
Oh my God, this is going to be so embarrassing. Like, I've held the presidential position. I probably don't know the answers to a lot of these things. Yeah, prove it. Yeah, sorry guys. At least my tenure is over. My reign of terror is done. So if I do mess up everything, at least I'm gone. I'm out of office. So.
All right, first question.
No second term. No 4 more years.
No impeachment.
No impeachment. Yeah, well, they would probably impeach me now if they could. All right.
Who was the founding director of the Honors College?
Tough start. In my head, it's Stuart Silverman, but I don't know if that's right.
No, that's completely correct.
Wow, okay.
I had to dig that one up. I didn't know. When did the new honors building open?
This one feels like a trick question. It was like, wow, what year is it right now? 24? Summer 23?
It was May of 2023.
Okay, I'll take May.
So yeah,
I'll take
that's
May.
a win. That's a win.
Yeah, school got out like May 2nd, so I'm going to take May. Summer 23
it was technically summer,
that's counting, yeah. Because my partner did not graduate in the building, and he was very upset.
Aww,
it was sad, yeah.
Guy.
So I knew it was after graduation.
He can reenact graduation.
Yeah, he did. We came to mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
When was the honors program officially made into the Honors College? And do you know under whose reign that was done under?
Judy Genshaft, I'll say 15 years ago.
It's 2024, so 15 years ago would be 2009?
Yeah.
It was close. It was Judy Genshaft in 2002.
Okay, it's been a while. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it was a program. That's embarrassing.
I didn't know that the Honors College is that old. I was born in 2002.
Yeah. I didn't know it was a program really either. Like, I hadn't considered that it wasn't always called the Honors College. That's interesting.
Very.
The more you know, friends.
How many honor students are actively enrolled?
I'm trying to
If
think.
you could approximate.
Okay, I can. I know there's about 650 in each freshman class. So that's like, what, 2,500?
2438. So
No
yeah,
way.
yeah, you're right there. She knows her
Awesome.
people.
I do, yeah. Yep.
How many honors study abroad programs were there this past year?
Oh, this is a great one. Friends who are listening, think about how many there are. This is awesome opportunities for those listening. Oh, I would have said, it's so hard for me to guesstimate this. 15?
11.
11 is a great amount. Like a ton. And also USF has study abroad programs too. So come to
even more.
USF and
Yeah.
do study abroad through the Honors College or through Education Abroad, please.
What is the name of the honors endowed dean?
I'm confused on the question.
So like our the honors college dean. He's technically called the honors endowed, like the honors
Okay.
college endowed dean, but who's the honors
Oh,
dean?
Charles Adams?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, didn't mean to confuse you.
Chuck? No, I'm just kidding.
We're on a first name basis, actually.
No, we're not. He's not going to like that I said that.
What is the name of the associate dean of the St. Petersburg campus?
This one I definitely don't know. Is Dr. Lanier who is it? I don't know.
Dr. Catherine Wilkins.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know that one. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Dr. Wilkins. I should know that.
And final question, will you come back and be a guest again in the future?
Of course. I would be
please do.
overjoyed. I would be overjoyed. I know that I'll be returning regularly to be at the Coastal reunions, and that also means that I'll be returning regularly to the Honors College.
Wonderful.
So if you would have me back, I would be like thrilled. And I'll talk about how the things that I did here have impacted my career now that I'm in the weeds.
Now that you're in the big world.
Yeah, in the big world.
love to
A little
check in with you.
sneak preview for whenever I do the next one. Only if you do it with me. You have to come back too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tradition, you know?
Tradition, yeah.
Tradition. Well, that is all the time we have today. Thank you all so much for joining us. And thank you, Audra, for chatting about your time as an honor student.
This has been a privilege, an honor, a joy. Thank you, Caroline, for being the best co-host ever, or I guess not, just host. Thank you for having me. I would love to be a guest again, and this has been a blast.
Thanks for joining me back in the studio. I hope you all enjoyed this segment. I think talking to Audra really just showed the breadth of the resources and the opportunities that are available here at the Honors College, and how taking a part in all those opportunities and experiences can not only prepare you for the future, but actually shape your dreams in ways that you maybe didn't expect going in. And speaking to staying involved with the Honors College, don't forget to check out the Honor Roll newsletter and our website at usf.edu/honors for all upcoming events, updates, and news. That will do it for this week's episode. The Honor Roll podcast is recorded in the Judy Genshaft Honors College at the University of South Florida Tampa campus. Production assistance is provided by honors student Abby Malloy and Professor Adam Davidson. Thank you all so much for listening. Please do not forget to rate and review our podcast. We appreciate your feedback. Tune in next time for more honors stories. Until next time, go Bulls.